Hello everyone. Good afternoon. This is Jagdeep Singh, the Director of INPHASE. We are connecting again today in a series of live talks UNI-STUD. We are today going to talk with Gabrielle from USQ Sydney. This is a live talk regarding the Australian education, and I'll just add Gabrielle with us. No viewers.
अपनी टीम को क्या बोलो? मैं इससे नहीं कर रहा, मैं कर रहा है तो यूज़ हो रहा है स्पून हो गया. That's why no problem.
I am trying to add Gabrielle. Okay, here she is. Adding Gabrielle to our chat right now. She'll be live with us very soon. She is the marketing director with the University of Southern Queensland, Sydney.
Good evening.
Good evening, Gabrielle. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Good evening to you and good afternoon from India.
And how's things in India?
It's fine. It's raining in between. The weather is wonderful. So just the COVID problem is there. Otherwise, things are fine. How are things in Australia?
A bit cold at the moment. I'm in Sydney, but other than that, pretty okay. And same situation with us as well. A few restrictions happening around for COVID, but generally all going good.
Wonderful. We are not able to see you. Is there any connectivity issue over there? We can't see your video.
Yeah, I think the problem is my video is a little bit on the slow side. I think the buffering doesn't work very well with the phone.
Okay. Your voice is wonderful otherwise.
Oh, thank you.
Right. So Gabrielle is joining us from Sydney, one of the most wonderful cities in the world, and the University of Southern Queensland Sydney campus is right in the heart of Sydney, very close to the Sydney Harbour and the Opera House. So Gabrielle, please give a brief about the university for us audience, our students can know more about the university.
Yep. So, firstly, good afternoon, guys. My name's Gabrielle, and I am based at the Sydney campus. Basically, USQ, or the University of Southern Queensland, our partnership with them. So, what we do is we offer some of their postgraduate programs at our Sydney campus, and mainly they're in IT. So, we have Master of Information Systems, Master of Cybersecurity, and Master of IT Innovation. So all the courses that we offer, so the course outlines, the exams, the assignments that students will get, they are set by and marked by the University of Southern Queensland main campus. All of our lecturers are ours, but they are actually monitored by USQ, so they have to be approved by the main campus before they can start teaching. And with that, so in a semester, so a student will have their lecturer, but also access to like the head lecturer, or what we refer to as a course leader. So they've got support coming from both sides in general.
So all in all, we can say that USQ Sydney has the same quality of education as the main university has, and the degree you get, the qualification you get after the completion of the studies is as per the standards of the USQ.
Yes, that's correct.
Wonderful. And you still don't live in Toowoomba, you live in a wonderful city of Sydney.
I live in Sydney, yes. And our campus is in a place called Surrey Hills, so it's just behind Sydney CBD. We're actually only 5 to 7 minutes walking distance to the main train station. So pretty much, if you're living anywhere in Sydney, you can get to us. We're very got a lot of good transport. Also. And like if you want to go into the city as well, if you were to walk it, it would take like 10 minutes. Like it's really, really close. In terms of some other things as well. We have a lot of facilities in the area, so not only we have our things on campus, but we have like restaurants and entertainment places very close to where the campus in Sydney is.
Right. So, what is the nationality mix in your university city campus?
Yep. So generally we have a very good South Asian mix. So we have students from India, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and we also have some students from Southeast Asia. So like we've had a couple of students from Indonesia, we had a couple of Europeans as well. So it is quite good mix. Also, like with our area as well, there's also opportunities for students in terms like, and that's why Sydney's such a good place as well, because there's a lot of opportunities for students to meet people from different areas also.
Right. So if I may add here, I understand I've been to Sydney quite a number of times. So a lot of Indian students like to stay in suburbs like Parramatta or Blacktown. So it's one single line. A lot of Indian students live on that train line.
Yep,
It's
that's
15,
correct.
20 minutes, just 15, 20 minutes from Parramatta to the city. Parramatta is very, very reasonable to live. So you can live in somewhere which is reasonable, but you study in a wonderful city like Sydney, and you get plenty of part-time work opportunities as well. A lot of international exposure. Sydney is one of the foremost cities of Australia. It's the financial hub of Australia. So it's like the Mumbai of India.
Well, pretty much. I always describe Sydney because, like, I've been to places like Jakarta where there's lots of traffic, and I'd be like, Sydney is kind of like your metropolitan like, say, Jakarta, Mumbai, Delhi, even in terms of how many facilities and what there is to offer. The only difference is we don't have as much traffic.
Right. So I understand Sydney has a lot of universities. So what is the advantage of studying with USQ in Sydney rather than going to some other universities?
Yep. So probably the biggest advantage we have is our class sizes. So we have a lot smaller sizes, and we couple the lecture and the tutorial together. So firstly, with the smaller sizes, the teacher can pay more attention to the students, all the students as a whole. Also, with the lecture and the tutorial being together in the one session, so each subject will have a class that goes for about 4 hours per lesson. So instead of having to go, say, 2 days later for the tutorial for the same subject, you take care of the one subject on that one day. So generally, if you were going to study in the Sydney campus, you have to enroll in 4 subjects per semester. So you would be studying anything from, say, 2 to 4 days a week, depending on when the lectures are on. So, say if you have, say, 2 lectures on the same day, you'd cover 2 subjects in the same day and so forth. So every semester it does change, but generally, if you work it out, the minimum they would study is 2 days a week if they had like lectures on the same day, like subject. But if you go across, the maximum would be about 4 days a week if you had like one class every day. So yeah.
So what I understand,
yeah.
So what I understand is, if I may add here, is that in USQ you get a lot of personal attention as an international student, and the workload is not very heavy, so it overwhelms you. If you are a sort of a student, you may get overwhelmed with a education such as UNSW or University of Sydney. Notwithstanding, they are almost double the tuition fee of USQ. So they are very expensive for one part. I'm not saying somebody should not study in those top universities, but for some of the students, those universities could be very, very overwhelming. And you may find yourself lost in that university. So studying in USQ Sydney, you'll get a lot of hand-holding, a lot of students you may connect with well, and you may actually become a successful student and still get a world-class degree.
Yep, that's correct. And
Right.
in terms of our staff as well, like for all of our courses, like in Sydney, we have someone that looks after them in terms of, like, say if they need to have a study plan, they have a person that they go to help them with a study plan that will cover them for the duration of the course. Even like myself, I work between USQ Sydney, and we have an English college, Canterbury Language Academy. So like for
Right.
students that might not quite get the IELTS, like it's just very simple where students, like if they need help with something, or if they need to know, oh, what floor they need to go on, like all of us have that knowledge, like the basic knowledge to tell them, oh yeah, you need to go to this floor or that floor, just so they don't feel overwhelmed or lost in the study environment.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful. So you've been working with USQ for quite a number of years now, right? I remember
Yes.
seeing you in all the emails for all these years.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that means that you work with a lot of Indian students that come to study in Australia. And in this sorry situation of COVID, what message do you have from the Australian universities, government? Our students have a lot of questions in their mind. When is the flights going to get open? How is they can study the Australian education, get an world-class degree? How they can save their time, because everybody is sitting idle at their homes waiting for things to change. So any message you
Yeah.
have from them?
Well, the first thing I just want to say is not to give up hope, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. Positively, I think the borders will open soon, and I keep always keep the positive thinking, because it will happen. Things do change for the better. In terms of your studies, we have an option, like all Australian universities have embraced this option as well, and it's good that the government has done it also, where students can start their course online while the borders are closed. And as soon as the borders are open, they can come and, they would have had their visas already. They can come, complete the rest of their course on campus. So we do facilitate this with USQ Sydney. We're offering, like, at the moment, students are studying via Zoom, like Zoom sessions, and we also record these sessions. So if, like, say the student misses a class, they can always request us for the video of that particular class, so they're not missing out on any work. Probably the best thing about USQ, and this is probably because of their world renown of being distance learning experts as well, is that USQ main campus, they have what is called the study desk. So when the student, even a USQ Sydney student, when they enroll and they start their course, they log into UConnect, and with that goes onto the study desk. And the lecturers in USQ, they have resources, they have videos that they post of lectures that they have in Toowoomba as well. So not only the student gets the information and support from the Sydney campus, but they also get that same support from the main campus at USQ as well.
So that means we can safely say that once you enroll into USQ Sydney, you're actually a member of the USQ community. You are registered as a USQ student. So you get your support, everything from the USQ main campus as well.
Yes. So they get more of the support. Even with things like, just I was saying before, like with our library, like we have our resource centre library at USQ Sydney where they can borrow books and things. But also with the fact that they're a USQ student, they can borrow from the main campus. They can order a particular book they want to borrow from the main campus library. The USQ will send it to us. They use it, and we send it back for them. So they have the access to resources from the main campus as well as resources here in Sydney.
And I'm sure with this COVID situation, one positive that has come up is that students, parents, and everyone else is more tech savvy now. They know the digital world more. They know how to use
Yeah.
resources virtually also. So
Yeah.
that is going to be a big advantage, accessing the resources from anywhere.
Yeah.
And we were discussing about the situation of the student visas or how the things would move from here. I may add for the benefit of students here that the Australian government has started giving visas, and as a good news, we got 2 Australian visas today. And
Oh, congratulations.
thank you. So we are getting visas regularly. We are lodging applications. We're getting visas. Australian government has announced that anybody who's studying online, you get a visa, you start your classes, and you are eligible for your post-study work and any other rights that we're getting from the offline education as well, from face-to-face education. So you can start your program. The next intake is November, and after that it's February. And hopefully we should have flights starting in November, December, somewhere like that. And before that, you get your visa done. You start your online classes. You probably start studying few weeks. And when the travel starts, just move on to Sydney or wherever in Australia you want to go and start your education. There's no point sitting idle, waiting for things to change. And I may also add here that the soon you start your classes, the soon you start your visa application process, the sooner you could travel, because the priority of travel would be given to the people who already joined classes with the universities. So if you're going to start your process when the things are over by next year, you may actually may have to wait another 6 months. So you apply now, contact us, contact the university, get your process done. We have to live with the situation. So, so Gabriel, anything else you want to add about the university, or how are the local students coping with the situation? The students who are already there, the international students in Australia.
Yep. So generally, a lot of the students, they're also studying online at the moment, but we are transitioning into what is called blended learning. So some of their classes will be online, and some of their classes will end up also being on campus. The best
Right.
thing is throughout this whole pandemic, USQ Sydney has remained open. So even though our students have to study online, they can come in, they can speak to any of our admission staff, they can speak to our program staff. We all have the safety measures in place. Like at the moment, I'm sitting at one of the receptions with our screen. We have like a big screen at the front for safety of both students and staff. We have limits in the lift. So there's a lot of things that we have put in place that make it very safe for students to come and come on campus as well. What the other things that we are doing, we are transitioning to on campus slowly at the moment, but we hope by semester 3 we will be at the minimum in blended mode. Which means that some classes will run on campus and some classes will run online. And they use Zoom. So we have, yep.
So are you providing any sort of student support services vis-a-vis, say, emotional support? Some students would be stressed.
Yep, yep. So what we're doing, with what USQ is actually doing, is there is the scholarship that we're offering to students, not the current students, but the new students that are going to start. There is a scholarship, which I'll just explain in a moment. But for current students, they can apply to USQ. They have received an email in previous semester as well, that they can apply for some additional support, but they have to do it through their main campus account with the main university. We are helping the students here as well at USQ Sydney. Like, for example, if they're say they've lost their job and they're having some problems in paying their fees, our financial management on a case-to-case basis is assisting with installment payments and giving them a bit more extra time so they're not stressing in terms of the fees and all of that side of it. So there is a lot of on-campus support, not just from the main university, but from our side as well.
Okay. So let's now talk a little bit about GT, the entry requirements to the university. With this pandemic, everyone is in lockdown mode over here. So since January, we could safely say that we do not have any proof for sitting idle at home, because we are sitting idle, everyone is sitting idle. So somebody who's done year 12 in say 2018 and some sort of a reason to do some work, some internship, something 2019, are you accepting those applications?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite.
So somebody
Can you
who's
repeat the
done
question?
year 12, okay, you have just master's programs, you don't have bachelor's programs, right?
No, not in the Sydney campus. We have
Okay,
the bachelor's is the main campus, but yeah, in the Sydney campus it's postgraduate.
you have bachelor's in CIM, your Canterbury College, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, for Canterbury College, you take year 12 students who did their year 12 in 2018 with good academic records?
Yes, if it's less than 2 years old, so we're in 2020 now. So from 2018, I'm pretty sure that they will accept.
With reasonable explanation. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And for the master's program at the USQ Sydney, do you have any issues with people who are already married? What is your take on the GTE?
So generally, I would say it would be a case-to-case basis. So the student would have to have a very good statement of purpose and a case as to why the spouse will join them in Sydney. I would say the best way to do it is to go through all of the documents, and also the student has to think about things like, just for example, intentions of coming to Australia, what your plans are starting the course, and also what is your outcome. So what are your plans after you finish? So like, do they plan to come back? Do they plan to continue on? Do they plan to maybe go, because the good thing about USQ courses, especially like with the programs we have in Sydney as well, they are in demand not just in Australia, but also overseas. So the students really need to think about, okay, I want to do this degree, but also what is the outcome of that degree? What do I want to do with the degree once I have finished it?
Sure. So let me add here with the GTE, a lot of students may have this question. They move around the agents and still they have no clue what exactly GTE is. So GTE is necessarily deals with three main questions. That one, why this course you have selected? Why do you want to do this specific course? Then why you have selected this university? And then why you have selected Australia to be your study destination. These are the three main academic questions students need to answer, and plus the financial ability of the student. So we check the genuine intention of the student to study in Australia, and if there's a good statement of purpose backing that with a GT should not be a problem. And generally at INPHASE, we do not have problem getting students through with the GT assessment. So our offers to the unconditional are pretty fast compared to the other agents. I have one more question. The GT assessment is done in Sydney or it happens in Toowoomba?
Okay, so what happens is the initial assessment we do in Sydney, or if the student is currently in India, we actually have an admissions office in Delhi that does the initial assessment. And then from there, the secondary assessment is done by main campus USQ. So we submit the documents and the application to the main campus. And then from there, if they're happy with our assessment plus what they have seen, they will issue the offer letter. Now, what the students have to understand is they may get called for interview from either or both our office as a part of the initial assessment, especially if there's some questions we have. And they may also get a call from the main campus. So they have to be prepared to be speaking to either our staff and or the main campus staff.
Right. Okay, but there is a chance that if the student is very good, he or she may not even get a call, right?
Yeah, there is that chance. But I always say, and it doesn't really matter what country the
Right.
student is from. I always say to students, always be prepared for a phone call or two with relation for an interview.
For sure, for sure. Right. Wonderful. Anything else you want to add, Gabriel, to Indian students with all your experience? You want to give a message to them?
The first thing I just want to say is to remain positive. I know this year has been very difficult for everybody. And I think to remain positive and not to give up on studies in Australia, because the borders will open, even though we don't know when yet. So still keep on those goals and have those aspirations to come to Australia. And just while you're in lockdown, just to make sure you look after yourselves in terms of health and safety and everything. And just to remain positive.
Right. So we'll wrap this up with the note of hope here. There's hope at the end of the tunnel. There is light there. The students should remain positive. Australia is a welcoming country. The economy also wants international students to come there. They need new immigrants to settle down. So things will change for sure. Keep planning your education, apply your visas, get admissions, get visa in time, start your online classes before you travel, and things would be fine. Thank you so much, Gabriel, for joining us today. We'll be in touch soon, and thank you so much for providing so much insight to Indian students.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having